You gotta choose. You like the top or you just like to lose. Make a move. Been at the bottom, I got the proof.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League brings us to First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. Tonight we kick off Week 3 with a great Thursday night matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. It's the first weekend of autumn, and the NFL is in full swing as off we go on EA Sports. This one fielded at the 5. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get this up to the 29. They start on the ground with Nick Chubb and give him 6 yards here as he stopped near the 35 at the 34. With that last effort, he topples the 5,000-yard mark for his career.
And that doesn't place you among the absolute greats that have ever played the game, but it's a significant achievement and a very, very solid career.
Six yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4. And again, it's Chubb. And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. 4 yards the pickup, first down. The Browns had 0-2 here to begin the season. And listen, they made their share of mistakes in these first 2 games, CD, but talking with them in the days leading up to this one, doesn't seem like they've lost any confidence.
I would agree with that, and what they told us was that they weren't planning on making any drastic changes. They didn't see the need to shake things up. They were going to continue to plow ahead. They thought they had the right.
Oh, Chubb fumbled it. And they are going to set up shop at the 40-yard. And without a doubt, not the way they pictured that opening drive unfolding.
No, they were making progress. They weren't exactly in high gear, but they were making a few yards along the way. And now that they've coughed it up, you got to go back to the sidelines and regroup a little bit.
First carry for the second-year man. It's Najee Harris. And he gets this to the 35. Good for a gain of 5. This running game's so important for them, and they know that. It helped lead him to a victory last week when he was over 100 yards.
Let's face it, it's their identity. And that's what they want to play to. They want to be that team that runs the ball really well each and every week. And right now, we're seeing a pretty good pattern of that happening.
The first down run got 5. Here's 2nd and 5. Throwing here, Trubisky. Looking for Johnson, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Greg Newsome. And the Browns are going to get it back here just shy of the 20. So a first interception thrown for him there, and that really not the best decision either.
Not at all. That's something he did not do in their victory last week. No interceptions in that game, but this defense, they're able to take advantage of an early mistake. Now let's see if they're going to turn it into points.
The Browns drive about to get started. And they are losers of 2 straight coming into this Thursday night game. Is it more difficult, CD, when you take a losing streak into a quick turnaround game like this?
It certainly is, because you don't get time to work on the issues that you've had throughout the season that have caused you to have the record that you're having. You can't really get those set. So now you're trying to minimize those and maximize what you've been doing well. And I remember a game recently where one of the assistant coaches said to the head coach, forget our running back rotation. This guy has a hot hand, and they rode him to a victory. Those are things you have to look out for in games like this.
Now a throw here going to be taken in by the tight end, Njoku. On the move past the 40. Look at the big man rumble. Touchdown, Browns. David Njoku, his third touchdown now on the year. And the Browns take the early turnover and convert it into an opening touchdown. Now Cade York for the extra point. It's up and through to make it 7-0 Browns. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. They threw an interception the first time they had the football, wound up leading to a touchdown the other way. How do you approach drive number 2?
Going back to your game plan coming in, everyone has matchups that they like better than others, where they think they have an advantage. Dial up some of those plays. Try and go to those spots and get your offense moving.
So following the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 25. Now it's Trubisky. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down.
Well, that was his first target of the game, and it's going to take at least one more target to get him on the board. Took a nice substantial hit to draw that catch loose from him. Incomplete pass.
On 3rd down, Trubisky. And that nearly intercepted. Well, for a guy known for his hands defensively, that's a ball he probably thinks he should have come up with. Instead, it's 4th down.
That looks like it's going to be 2 empty possessions now to start this football game. I think they're going to have to sit down and talk about what worked for them last week in their win. Sometimes you over-game plan, overthink things, get back to what works.
They only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. 31 yards on the punt there. And the Browns will take over, 1st and 10. The Cleveland offense ready to go. Winless to start the year at 0-2, and now they get the Thursday night game here in Week 3. So, I don't know, does the fact that they're back out so quickly, Charles, help or hurt their cause?
Oh, I say unequivocally help, because you always want a Thursday game earlier in the schedule rather than later, just because the grind of the season hasn't really set in yet. But also, if they can get a win here, they get a mini open week, recharge a little bit, and carry some fresh momentum into the rest of the season.
Well, the first play of the drive lost 4. Now they'll look to move it forward here on 2nd and 14. They run it again with Chubb. And maybe Shane's in the steel curtain here as the Steeler defense drops him behind the line again. They lose 2 on that last play, so things get even tougher. 3rd and long coming up.
This defense is a difficult one to prepare for, one of the best in the league. They'll come at you from all angles, and they did a nice job there stopping him for a loss.
So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now 3rd and long. A shotgun snap for Watson. And that is incomplete.
And 3rd down is a key down in any game you play. And 3rd down defense, something we've got to watch in this one. Got to be effective on the passing downs. That's a pretty good first step right there.
And Bojorquez on to punt as he gets it away. And that ball's going to angle out at the 3-yard line. A beauty.
That is how you flip field position. That's an absolute bomb of a punt. Downs it inside the 5-yard line. Absolutely ideal.
From that position, you're hoping to get it down inside the 15, inside the 5. Superb. The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. They're riding a 2-game winning streak into this Thursday nighter. How easy is it when you're on a roll to stay on a roll given the quick turnaround?
Well, you would think it'd be pretty easy because everyone's locked in practice and meetings because everyone feels good about themselves. And for coaches, this is where they have to tell themselves, don't add too much. Don't worry about game plans as much as players. So look at your play sheet and think, give it to the guys who play best and don't worry about the rest of it.
A good run, got 7 on first. Here's 2nd and 3. They hand this off to Harris. And this won't be enough to pick up the first. A gain of 2, 3rd and 1. Not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down. On 3rd down, here's Harris. And boy, he is very close to a first down, but from where they're spotting that football, he's going to be a foot or so short. They're going for it. This is Harris. Oh, and I think he went backward. He did. Boy, a curious decision to go for it. Doesn't pan out. And now possession will go over inside the 15-yard line. From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10. Up the middle, it's Chubb. And here he'll get it down to the 7. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5. If you start assessing what went wrong last week, Charles, in their loss, had nothing to do with the ground game. They ran it well.
And you also have to say to yourself as a team, don't go away from what worked. That's not the reason the game was lost. Running the football over time, when you do it consistently, usually translates into wins.
And they're hoping to do it consistently here. From the 7, it's 2nd and 5. They go up the middle with Chubb. And he'll be stopped just outside the 5 at the 6. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
Well, they were handed great starting field position on this drive, but now they face a 3rd and 4. Watson. And that's going to be caught for a Browns touchdown. 2 first-quarter touchdown passes now for Deshaun Watson. And the Browns have taken a 13-0 first-quarter lead. So it takes them just 3 plays here to find the end zone. And you remember, of course, this was all set up by their defense.
Yeah, they got the stop on 4th down, so I imagine the offense said to their defense, thank you very much for this great starting field position. And like you said, 3 plays later, they're in the end zone.
Extra point by York is up and good. And that'll make the score 14-0. The Browns kicking team out there now as they'll send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. Early on, you know, Charles, every game could be called a measuring stick game. But I think when it comes within your division like this, it's a measuring stick game with a little extra intrigue.
I would agree with that totally because all division games have a little extra to them. But I like where this game is situated because at this stage of the season, it has that little extra juice. But at the same time, it's not a make or break if this were, let's say, week 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Now here's another carry for Harris. And he'll get about 3 here as he's out to the 30.
Some of the most unselfish players on any football team, defensive tackles, because we ask them to just eat up blocks and allow other people to make tackles. But when he can make a play himself, as we just saw there, that's a big day.
And on 3rd down, the Browns going to go with a nickel set. From the shotgun is Trubisky. They'll get this complete to Calvin Austin. And he will have a Steelers first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Well, these guys have definitely been outplayed in the first half. I like their countenance. I like the way that they're having panicked out there, the way they're carrying themselves. They're starting to move the ball, and what you have to do, maintain your poise and start to put together some drives.
Slot man moves right. Now a first down carry for Harris. And some room to roam now. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. 40 yards rushing now on 8 carries for him so far. Boy, the offensive line there, that was a thing of beauty to watch them block.
I love how you give a little appreciation for those big guys up front, and well-deserved. But how about the execution behind them? You can see the hours of practice that have gone into it. Great pocket by the running back. Quarterback puts it right in the perfect spot. Great mesh point by them. The timing on point. The run even better.
First down, and they go back to Harris. And this will be a gain of 5 as he gets it to the 30.
If you're a coach, you'll absolutely take that run every time on first down because it really sets you up to go in a number of directions here on second.
After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. From the gun, it's Trubisky. Over the middle, complete. It's Harris. And he's brought down, but not before he reaches the 8-yard line. A good pickup there at 22. First and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. Now Trubisky. Caught on the slant. Touchdown. Pat Freiermuth from 8 yards out. And the Steelers have cut it back within a score. Chris Boswell now for the extra point. And that one makes it 14-7.
Makes the score Browns 14, Steelers 7.
Boswell now to kick it away after the touchdown. The Browns drive about to get started. With the football changing hands here, and as this offense takes the field, Charles, they'd be fine with more of the same on this upcoming drive. Last time out, they found the end zone for 6.
And they're certainly hoping for more of the same, but the game plan, I doubt it'll just be a carbon copy of the last drive, because I think this offense is ready to break out some new wrinkles and try some new things that might be hidden in their playbook. They want to use that confidence to its advantage, while also keeping the defense from anticipating what's up next.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. From the gun, it's a give to Chubb. And this will be stopped at the 44. That one good for 7 yards. And that's on the guard, Wyatt Teller. Now it's Watson. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
That certainly appeared to be a play call where they were just trying to make second down, second and short. I think they thought the coverage was off a little bit more than it was. Nice job there pressing up on it and forcing the incompletion.
So they'll come up after the incompletion for second down. Back to throw, Watson. Going deep for Hopkins. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Levi Wallace with a pick. They're trying to resurrect his confidence. Last week was a disaster. 5 interceptions in that loss, and another pick there.
I played with a quarterback like this before, and he had a tough game, and the head coach said, I'll take him, I'll fix him. The very next game, he started out the exact same way. The head coach turned to the offense coordinator and said, he's yours from now on. Someone has to take responsibility and work with him and try and get him settled.
They'll get this to the 24, and it's second down.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
And the Steelers on third down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 7. Now Trubisky to throw. And that is incomplete. So it doesn't look like they're going to be able to build off the turnover.
Well, the defense certainly did its part to get on the football. But you're exactly right. It looks like they're going to have to punt this one away. And it's not a turnover, but doesn't it feel like one after grabbing the momentum with the defensive play?
Yeah, and they had all that momentum after getting the football, and now zapped right back in the other direction. A nice return that time of about 14 yards. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. The Cleveland offense ready to go. Well, still early in this one, Charles, but the last time this offense was out there, they threw their first interception of the ball game, so trying to avoid repeating that mistake here on this drive.
And to put a positive spin on it, at least it happened in the first half and not in a close game in the fourth quarter. But you're absolutely right, partner. One of the last things this offensive quarterback wants to witness again in this game.
Kind of an obvious question, Charles, but anything you try to avoid after your first pick, or you say it's one interception, we're still in the first half, I'm going to do the same thing?
I think you want to avoid playing scared, and put it into the mind of the quarterback that you've lost confidence in him. Make sure you get some throws that he's going to be able to complete, make him feel good about himself, and continue to run your offense.
On 2nd and 7, Watson. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on 3rd down. He did an okay job of absorbing the hit, just couldn't secure the football through the catch.
And he was right there on the spot and forced the incompletion. That's something defenders work on all the time. If you're there, make the contact, but continue to work your way through the receiver so that you can't possess the football and turn it into a catch.
Throwing on 3rd down, Watson. And the Steeler pressure too much here. He's going down. Now the Steelers use the first of their 3 timeouts. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. Here comes Grant on the return. A nice return there of 11 to help mitigate a good punt. And they will take over 1st and 10. The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something that could put your team in some jeopardy? Nothing open downfield, and he had to get that one out in a hurry because he just knew he was about to take a big shot. Probably couldn't get his legs into the throw. Became an all-arm throw trying to check it down to his running back. Incomplete.
And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off by Grant Delpit. And the Browns will have solid field position here as they take over at their 45-yard line. That throw, Charles, over the middle of the field, and a few too many bodies in there got picked.
That's a normal situation, too, isn't it? No matter how hard you try and spread the field sometimes, there's always going to be a traffic jam, it feels like, towards the middle. And if there's any type of a missed throw or maybe the ball's tipped or just too many bodies in the area, an interception can result.
After the interception, here's Watson. He's got a man complete. It's Amari Cooper. And they'll get him down on the other side of midfield. They go with Chubb on 2nd down. And this won't be enough to pick up the first. A gain of 2, 3rd and 1.
They just keep trying, but so far, finding no room for him to run.
None whatsoever. In fact, you run the numbers. He's under 3 yards a carry at the moment. And I see an extra defensive back on the field. Little surprise here on 3rd and 1. Here's Watson. Looking left side. That's caught by Moore. He's going to have the first down and then some. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. Defense was thinking run, and they're dealt a pass of just under 20 yards. On 1st down, they'll run with Chubb. And he's brought down at the 24 after a gain of 4. Now the Browns will use the first of their 3 timeouts, as the clock's going to stop with 47 seconds to go in half number 1. Second and 6. Moore, the man in motion. faking the give. Now Watson. And it'll be intercepted. Picked up by Minkah Fitzpatrick. And the Steelers are going to take possession here. It's a touchback, and they'll take over at the 20-yard line. They are in an interception mood on defense. Had 2 nice interceptions a week ago. Now 2 here in the first half.
Yeah, we call it ball hawking. And the only way to truly be good ball hawks is not guessing. It's not just simply anticipation. It's study and understanding what they like to do and beating them to the spot and creating big plays.
Well, they're watching the film, and it's working.
All right, help me out here a little bit, partner, because what I'm seeing is a passing game that's just struggled to complete anything. No rhythm, no timing. Seems like every pass is also contested well, so give some credit to the defense.
Again from the 20 after the incompletion. Here's 2nd and 10. Now it's Trubisky. Setting up the screen, Harris. And he stopped right at the 25 after a gain of 5. Now the Steelers use the second of their 3 timeouts as they stop it with 28 seconds to go in the first half of play. Out of the gun, Trubisky. Looking deep for Hilton. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked up by Denzel Ward. Well, I'm not sure that the wheels, Charles, are coming completely off, but they're shaking a little bit. That's 3 interceptions, and now interceptions here on back-to-back drives.
And I think about what a Hall of Fame coach told me, that he always told his teams, when a mistake happens, just move on to the next play. Let it go. Hard to do when you've thrown this many interceptions. That's exactly the attitude that has to be adopted.
The Browns drive about to get started. And with great starting field position and a couple of timeouts at their disposal, they'll certainly have the green light here. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And that is taken in by Njoku. Now the Browns signal for the second of their timeouts as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number 1.
Good strong throw and catch right there. And so far in this game, the alleys have been open for them to get completions, and they're taking advantage of it.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Here's Watson. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Levi Wallace with a pick. And the Steelers are going to take over once again, and they'll have it at their own 8-yard line. 3 first-half interceptions now, and Charles, you'd have to think a fair amount of concern is developing over there on that sideline.
And there should be, because essentially he's been a little loose and possibly reckless with the football here in the first half. Now, maybe it's not all on him, but still 3 interceptions. That puts the entire team in jeopardy. So the play caller from here on out got to design some throws for him that he can complete, keep it away from the defense, and try and get him back on track.
And they line up now for what will likely be the last play of the first half. They go play action. Trubisky steps away. And this will be incomplete. 1 second left to go.
Now, you know me, whether you need it or not, I'm going to give a little unsolicited advice. Just throw it downfield out of the pocket, only if you're absolutely sure. Otherwise, use your running ability and try and get those yards a safer way.
And he won't get close. Only a yard, 4th and 3. So we have reached halftime here in Cleveland with the Browns on top. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. The Steelers going to get the football first here, trailing on the scoreboard as we are back underway on EA Sports. This will be fielded inside the 5. And he's up across the 25 and down at...
The Steelers take over first and 10 at their own 28-yard line.
The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive.
Well, out of the locker rooms here they come. Their first drive of the third quarter. And, Charles, they're trailing in this ball game, but we got a tight one and set up to be a very entertaining second half.
And as we know, partner, in the NFL, there's trailing and there's trailing, right? Sometimes you're discouraged by how much you're down, but in this case, this is a tight ball game, so there's a sense of optimism here. I think they went in at the half and looked at their play sheet and said, these are the plays we really like. What do you say we use them to start the second half and get us going?
So one play, and they're already just shy of midfield.
First and 10, here's Pickett.
And this one caught along the sideline, but they say already out of bounds. Now, the throw didn't give him a chance to turn it upfield, and that brings up second down.
You get the sense that they're saying we're not playing up to what we're capable of, and we're deep enough into the game that the early jitters are long gone, that they should now have some...
Oh, now Harris lost it. It's a fumble. And this is picked up by the Browns. Look at this, middle of the field, a breakaway. And he's into the end zone. It's a fumble return for Browns TD. This was a close game.
And now, as with every potential turnover, they're going to take a second look at this just to make sure. So possession still theirs, but now they face a third down. Pickett.
And that will be incomplete.
How about the coverage we just saw break out on third down? Dime defense, blanketed the field with extra defensive backs and speed, unable to find an open hole to complete that pass.
And the punter's on the sideline. Here's the field goal unit now to try an exceptionally long one. And this will be called officially a 66-yard attempt. And that one's not going to get there. Not enough juice, an ambitious effort, but it's well short. And this will stay at a 7-point game. Down here in the third quarter, obviously that's one they could have used.
Yeah, one of my favorite special teams coaches in the NFL told me what separates the kickers in the NFL versus the ones who are not is not the misses. It's the second miss in a row. Best kickers in the league, they don't miss two in a row. He's got to get his head back together in case he gets another shot.
That's Larry Ogunjobi powering through to end that play before it could get started.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. Looking deep in the direction of Cooper. And for the fourth time tonight, it's an interception. Picked up by Minkah Fitzpatrick. Gosh, you add up last week and this week now. That's 9 interceptions in this two-game stretch, and we're not done here.
It's almost as if they can't even believe their eyes. Or maybe, partner, is the confidence level in him so high that they believe he'll get out of it and make plays for them to win a game.
Well, they've said they believe in him. That's being tested right here. The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. Yeah, they've got to be a little bit frustrated about that last drive, missed field goal.
Always hurts a team because, you know, you've put something out there, you've given yourself a chance, you're in range, and the ball doesn't go through the posts. But it's not something to panic about, I don't believe. Just keep playing and keep going. Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on first down, that fits the bill.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. They'll keep it on the ground. Harris again. And he's got room. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down.
118 yards for him on the ground now. He has been a tough man to bring down all night.
Sometimes those lines that are drawn on a grease board or in a playbook, they come to life out on the field, don't they? And we just saw that on that outside handoff to the right.
That right tackle, he gets excited for that call, doesn't he?
He does, because he just wants to dominate his guy and say, listen, I was the point of attack. I took care of business. That's why you're able to get downfield and add all those yards to your total.
Yeah, really nice game there. Harris running straight ahead, and he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
There was simply no bringing Harris along slowly as a rookie for the Steelers. He was one of 2 NFL backs with over 300 carries and led all NFL running backs with 74 catches. Along the way, he set several Pittsburgh rookie records.
They'll try the right side with Harris. And a 5-yard gain gets him to the 42.
This drive is pretty clear. Almost feels like old-school fundamentals, doesn't it? Want to impose their will on the defense. Was that 5 straight runs?
Yeah, 5 straight carries to start this drive. And like you said, the way it's working, they may just stick with it. Second and 5 now. Pickett. Throw left side complete. That's Harris. And a little spin cycle. Room to run now. And they're going to have another first down as he's going to be tackled at the Browns 16. A big play that time on the catch and run. And it'll give them a fresh set of downs.
So the ball down to the 16 here for 1st and 10.
On the give, this is Harris. And he's able to get this inside the 10 now to the 9. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
And when you get good yardage like that on first down, it really does a whole lot of good for your entire offense. But I love the way he's finishing those runs. At the end of things, he's making sure he gets just a little bit extra.
2nd and 3 from the 9. Looking to throw, Pickett.
Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted.
Picked up by Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
The 40. 20. And he takes this one back into the end zone, and the Browns defense has a touchdown.
Well, Charles, just some visibly frustrated players and coaches on that sideline right now because those halftime adjustments didn't work. The turnover problems continuing here in the second half, and the defense now sitting pretty comfortably as a result of that pick 6.
I think that's a great observation too, Brandon, because they did make adjustments at halftime. But how about this other group staying a step ahead despite whatever happened in that other locker room? No surprise they're leading, and it's appropriate that those defenders got to add to the lead directly.
So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away.
This will be fielded inside the 5. And he will make it to the 20-yard line and no further.
The Steelers take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive.
Remember, they were just out here a moment ago through the pick 6, so we'll see if they can take better care of the football this go-around.
And sometimes, partner, I think it's almost better that you just throw the pick 6 and you come right back out on the field. You're not over on the sidelines dwelling for it for very long. You're not hearing everyone say, oh, hey, you'll get them next time. Hey, don't worry about it. All that stuff just goes right out the window. You're right back out on the field with a chance to atone.
Under a minute to go in this third quarter as they come up 1st and 10. Now a give, running left is Harris. And he's going to take this across the 50 into Browns territory. He was trying to clear the way, the big fullback. Instead, he gets a hold.
And you don't see that very often on running plays from those guys because usually they're the lead blocker. Normally, when he gets caught, it's in a passing situation.
Here's Harris. Room here to run. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field.
So the big gain, all for naught for the offense. That yellow flag is going to bring it back.
Oh, what a tough look for the offense because they see all that yardage lost and that ball's walked back and then some behind the original line of scrimmage.
Pickett's throw complete to Freiermuth.
And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. It's a big play, yet amazingly, because of how far they had to go, they're still looking at a second down here. On second down, this is Harris. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. One quarter remains here in this Thursday night matchup. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. In need of a conversion on third down. They had the big play to start the drive. Not much sense. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. That ball caught by the former Toledo Rocket, Deontay Johnson. The previous play, they barely got back to the line of scrimmage. Now they pick up over 30 yards.
A very nice job right there, working the middle of the field, able to create some separation and then utilize it to not just make the catch, but turn upfield once he got the ball in his hands.
So the big play means just like that, they'll operate from the red zone now on first down.
Pickett will look to throw it here.
And his throw is incomplete.
Oh, they'll certainly be on the tablets going over that one for sure. Clearly they were expecting something else out of the defense and couldn't adjust to make that completion happen.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. A run with Harris out of the shotgun. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run, got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
So through 3 quarters, no reason to lighten up now. Got his man, it's caught for a Steelers touchdown.
Najee Harris,
a 5-yard touchdown.
And the Steelers have made it a one-score game again here in the 4th.
Extra point now by Boswell. It's up and good. This becomes a 21-14 ball game now. Boswell now to kick it away after the touchdown.
This will be fielded inside the 5.
The lane opens here. He's past the 30. He's at the 40. The 20. 10. And they are not going to catch him. He's in. Touchdown, Cleveland. Trying to bust out of that losing funk, and these fans have to like this. And all right, fellas, this is more like it.
And I know that if this holds up after the game, they're going to give the fans a lot of credit being at home, getting the support. But you and I both know it goes deeper than that. They had to get it together in their own facility, look each other in the eye and say, okay, what's it going to take to break this losing streak? And they really came together with a good week of practice.
So let's try this again. After the kick return TD, here's yet another kickoff. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive.
The interception was a great starting point, but now they need points pretty quickly, down 2 scores. Meanwhile, Pickett's throw into the hands of Pickens.
And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, it's Pickett. He finds his man Johnson. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. 18 yards the gain for number 18.
Good yardage on the completion there. And when they look at the scoreboard, they do understand a field goal is not going to do them any good. My guess, they're going to press the ball downfield as far as possible, try and throw it into the end zone and get a score because they know they've got to get that done and get the ball back as quickly as possible.
He's got a man complete. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. A really good pickup of 28 yards. Defensively here, you've got the cushion, but back-to-back pretty big pass plays there. Bend but don't break, but are they bending too much?
I think that they are. To me, it'd be like playing basketball, and you put up a token press. Make sure you get up there and make them eat up some time. Make it a little bit of resistance so they can't just run it right down your throat.
From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. And the timing a bit off that time as that one falls to the ground.
They certainly thought he had an open look beyond the first down marker to his receiver, but they just couldn't connect, and that will send them back to the drawing board.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10.
Now Pickett.
To the end zone, but it's incomplete.
When you're leading in the final quarter, your radar has to be up for any potential deep shots. And probably not the last one they're going to see in this game, not as long as they hold this lead.
This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have them looking at 3rd and 10.
Pickett is going to throw it again.
It's brought in by Harris. And he'll be taken down at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. Harris is not going anywhere. He'll be hit and dropped for no gain at the 2-yard line. Only a yard that time, 2nd and goal.
Najee Harris, well built for work down here near the end zone. That's a nice job there to hold him up, but I doubt we've seen the last of him on this drive.
From the 2 now, 2nd and goal. Again, it's Harris, and he's going to take it in for a Steeler touchdown.
Najee Harris
with his 2nd TD of the game, his 6th on the year.
And the Steelers are back within a score.
Boswell good with the extra point. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. Boswell now to kick it away after the touchdown.
This one fielded at the 5. And his guys will get the football right at the 20-yard line.
The Cleveland offense ready to go. I'm curious to see, Charles, about the play calling on this drive. Last time out, the interception that led to a touchdown. Here we are. I mean, very close, 1-score game.
Yeah, and if I'm a defender, I'm actually chirping Chili on the other side of the ball, said, hey, we picked off the last one. What you going to do about it now? So when you do throw the football, high percentage, but throw it with confidence. Because if there's any hesitancy at all, it could end up in enemy's hands again.
From the 22, here's 2nd and 8. They'll try and wind down some clock with Chubb. It's a gain of 6, moves them to a manageable 3rd and 2 situation.
And this is an absolutely big 3rd down that's been set up here, partner, and there's no other way to put it. The defense has to get a stop here if they have any hopes of winning this game.
Has to. You said big 3rd down. I'd put the word big in capital letters here. This is 3rd and 2. Maybe the biggest play in this football game. They'll run for it. Here's Chubb. Well, they hit him in the backfield, and he will not escape. And that is not going to get it done. Now the Steelers use the first of their 3 timeouts. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. The Browns send out their punter now as he's on to kick it away. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. Returnable for Grant. Found good room to run there. Returns it 14 yards. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. And it feels like the momentum has shifted. They scored, then their defense forces that last punt. And now a chance to tie the game on this possession. Pickett in trouble, and down he goes. So they will take the sack instead of the penalty.
And it takes another down off the series. But the biggest one of all, do you want to tell the guy who just got the sack that it no longer counts?
No.
No, not at all.
Pickett looking to throw on second down.
Had his hands on it, but dropped it. The rookie making a little bit of a rookie mistake. 3rd down.
Well, that's where this Cleveland crowd, the dog pound in particular, make it difficult on opposing offenses. It looked like they might have had troubles communicating at the line, and it leads to the incompletion.
And they work this well upfield across the 45. A real letdown defensively. That was 3rd and a bundle, but they allow the conversion.
Pickett now on 1st down. He's got this to Pickens.
And he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. That's now a pair of explosive plays in succession, both north of 20 yards. The drive continues as they search for a tying touchdown. Here's 1st and 10. They hand this off to Harris, and maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line.
Looking to throw here, Pickett. On a huge mistake late, it's intercepted. Picked up by Martin Emerson, and the Browns have just about sewn up this football game.
Well, this is something we've seen before, partner. We've seen a defense bait a rookie, pretend to leave a window open, and then the defensive back jumped it as soon as the ball was released. Big-time play. They love taking advantage of the youngsters, and in this case, it paid off well.
The Browns drive about to get started. And checking the timeouts, they do have 2 defensively, but no real need to use them as they're not going to be able to stop the clock after that.
Watson's throw here into the hands of Moore.
And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. It's a gain of 14 there, and that should be enough to get him home free.
Well, it may seem a little unorthodox to some people. Got the lead, 4th quarter, yet he's still firing away. I think he believes that's the best way to go ahead and win the game.
Yeah, a lot of coaches say, let's just run the football, be conservative. He's sticking to his game plan.
No, that is his game, and that's what they're going to ride.
2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead, positive gain. Just keep that clock ticking.
This, in all probability, another run here on 2nd and 8. They run it again with Chubb.
And he's going to have a Browns 1st down as he's got this up to the 45-yard line.
So Cleveland able to victory here, and it's going to be their defense that gets the ink in the headlines tomorrow, and for good reason. They forced 5 turnovers in this game.
And while we were watching this game unfold, I kept thinking about when we did our training camp tour and something that you noticed along the way. Just about every camp we visited, when the defense got together, everyone was doing ball drills. Defensive linemen, linebackers, secondary, because they understood how vital it was to take the football away. And they wanted every opportunity. When the ball was knocked free, they want all those guys to be familiar with touching the ball so they could pick up the fumble or get the interception. And we saw it pay off in this one here.
Yeah, 5 times. They'll remember this one. So for the Browns, they're into the win column now as they move to 1-2 on the young season. And they'll get the weekend off now as they get a little extra time to prepare to face the Atlanta Falcons. Meanwhile, for Pittsburgh, they suffered defeat for the first time as they dropped to 2-1. And they'll be back home next week for a date with the New York Jets.